Hi, I am Ashley Hoskins, and I am doing a presentation on becoming an exchange student in Madagascar. So, before I talk about my experiences in Madagascar, I'd like to talk about Madagascar itself. So, it's located on the southeastern coast of Africa, and it's home to 24,981,000 people. And instead of Michigan, they do not get 4 seasons in one day. They typically get 2 seasons. One season's more dry, and the other season is a hot and rainy season. The rainy season's from around November to April, and the dry season's from May to October. And as a student and living in Michigan, where it's so varies on how what our weather is going to be, it'll be a very big adjustment to get used to their weather and their climate. So, as any new student would enter into a new school, they would typically feel anxious but excited. So, in my experience, coming into Madagascar, I would also feel nervous but excited. I'd be excited to experience new cultures, I would be excited to new foods, meet new people, but since I'm shy, this will be a little more difficult, but I'm willing to take that challenge. But I'd be nervous on how I'm going to interact and not come off as rude. I'd also be nervous about the language barriers and just trying to practice my communication skills with the people of Madagascar. But as I would go on, I feel like I'd become more comfortable with communicating. So, next slide. Verbal communications, they mainly speak a local tribal language, Malagasy, and they also speak French. And people in Madagascar communicate more indirectly, so this is a sign of respect. So when they speak indirectly, it is to make sure that there's not as many conflicts, no signs of aggression, so no eye contact, and this is a way for the community to live together in harmony and not create so many problems. So to be an effective listener, I'll have to listen to key words in their language because I don't know the language as well. So in order to me be a good listener, I'll have to try to understand exactly what they're saying. So if I listen to keywords while I'm learning their language, it'll help me be more in tune with what they're trying to tell me. So this also means I'll have to ask questions since I'm still new to their language. I won't have to be afraid to ask and just reaffirm what they're trying to say. I'll have to also be aware of how indirect communication works so I don't offend anyone because that's the last thing I want to do. I'm not very into conflicts. I don't want to come off in any wrong way. I'll have to acknowledge nonverbal cues and body language like hand gestures, eye contact, but not using eye contact, just when and what to use. So in the culture, since I'm a woman, I am going to follow the woman lifestyle in Madagascar. They do not have equal rights like a man. We have unequal employment rights. We have unequal property rights. And typically the women stay home and do field work. Typically women don't know their rights because most of them are illiterate and there's not as much technology to get news to be spread faster. So in order for the women to learn their rights, and say if Congress passed new laws to help women with their rights, they wouldn't know until a chain reaction. So word of mouth, and that's how they would know their new rights. Most of my women my age do not attend school because they have to help their families in the field and work. So that's why most of them are illiterate. So political issues, because they're not as financially stable as the U.S., they do not have funding for their healthcare system or their educational system. So this means that Their healthcare is not funded as much as ours. Typically, a male lives to be 65 years old, and a woman tends to be 68 years old. So going into Madagascar, I'll have to probably learn to basic first aid, CPR, just so I know how to help others and myself as well. With the school system, like I said before, there's not as much. It's not a stable educational system when kids are leaving to go help their families. But if they are funded a little more, it would probably help with more textbooks, more eligibility for students when they are at home, just to help keep them up. So, in order to practice my communication skills, since I'm naturally shy, I would want to participate in different groups. So when I was thinking of groups to be involved with in the community, I was thinking religion and maybe school activities or sports. So they're made the religion there is Christian, and so I was thinking if I can intervene myself into these sermons on Sundays or these meetings that they hold, I could participate and practice my communication skills and learn their culture that way. I could also participate in their sports. They like to play rugby and soccer, football known to them, but soccer for us. I'm not very a sports person, but I'd be willing to use that as a tool to practice my communication skills and learn how to interact, not just communicating, but also to have fun and make relationships to build on in the future. So, and the next slide is my references. So, thank you for listening.